The bottom line on island hopping in Coron in the Philippines is that you need to decide which tour you're going to do. As we're walking around, you'll see advertisements for the Coron Island tour. Like, okay, that sounds good. But then there's the ultimate tour. Then there's the super ultimate tour, which is what we booked and what we're going to show you in this video because we wanted to see as many locations as possible so you can compare and contrast and decide, is this tour for you? It was only $28 per person. That's the most expensive tour you can book other than a private boat. It includes pickup and drop off at your hotel and lunch, and then all these different locations all around the island. We will say that it's very fast paced, the super ultimate tour, because they're going to show you so many things that in some spots we only had 30 minutes, in other spots we had up to an hour, but you're not going to have 2 to 3 hours to really chill and hang out. If you want that, a more leisurely paced tour, don't book the super ultimate tour. But if you want to see as much as you possibly can of the island of Coron and have lots of snorkeling and swimming and free diving, then this tour might be for you. Probably one of the most important things we're going to tell you in this video is how this whole thing works with these Coron Island hopping tours. So there's only a handful of operators that actually own the boats and actually do the tours, and they don't want to be bothered with trying to track down tourists to join them on their boats. They outsource that to all the travel agencies, if you will, and they're all over town. You'll see guys on the side of the road yelling. They're all working for the same operators, and they can all offer you pretty much the same price. So number one, don't pay more than every other tour agency is offering, and number two, you can negotiate and say, well, down the street for only $28 per person, they're giving me the super ultimate tour and a free snorkel and mask and free fins and free lunch and a pickup and drop off from my hotel and a free towel and a kayak. Basically, we negotiated and said, well, we want this, 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 and this, and he said, yeah, I can absolutely do that for you. Negotiate, get your money's worth, but make sure you get picked up from your hotel. We're waiting for our pickup. A guy named Bingo said he'd come get us like 20 minutes ago. He told us yesterday he's not here yet, and we're worried, slightly worried we got scammed, and the boat's gonna leave, and we'll be doing no island hopping today, but we'll see. I'm sure he's coming.
We're pretty good ones.
Once they get you to the port and in your boat, you might be off you go. You might be waiting for the 2 or 3 boats that are stacked up after you to be off and gone, and then off you can go. But basically, there's no pomp and circumstances. Like, here's your boat, have a seat, put the life jacket on because the Coast Guard's looking at us. We'll be heading to the island soon. Soon is a relative term in the Philippines. On our first stop of the super ultimate Coron Island tour, we arrived at Barracuda Lake. It is a freshwater lagoon lake within the island. You have to climb up just a few stairs and then back down a few stairs to get to it, and then you're just free to swim and snorkel and free dive. What I want to tell you, what I wish I'd known, is that you probably shouldn't bring anything to this stop because there's just a tiny little platform built up of wood for you to stand or to put your things. And if you try to put something there, hoping it'll stay dry, with people coming in and out of the lake and not much area, it's probably gonna get wet. Plus, you might have to wade into the actual island or swim back out to your boat like we did. And they were like, hey, we got to swim to the boat now. And I said, but I have my camera and I don't know if I can do that. So just don't bring much. Our second and third stop were really in the same location. It was CYC Beach and the Coral Garden. CYC Beach is this tiny little island all of its own. It's really nice, it's very picturesque, but we spent most of our time in the water looking at the Coral Garden because it was some pretty impressive snorkeling, really nice coral, but we didn't stay there very long. We stopped at one place called the Skeleton Shipwreck. It's really not an entire shipwreck, it's just the bow of a ship, but it's different and unique because you're not looking at coral as you have been most of the day, and you can free dive down and kind of look at the ship, and it's cool, and it was just pretty cool. So, you know, it might be on your itinerary. For lunch, we anchored right outside the Green Lagoon. This place is extremely pretty. To me, maybe the most pretty on the tour, but obviously there's a lot of pretty things on the tour. They gave us some fish and some chicken and some rice, a typical Filipino lunch, and then after lunch we had time to snorkel or swim, so Maggie and I went for a quick swim. Always enter the water in style if you can.
Yeah.
When you book, check to see if the twin lagoons are on your itinerary. I thought these were pretty cool. So it's 2 lagoons. One is outside the island, if you will. It's on the coast of the island. The other one is within the island. And the way that you access from the first to the second is a tiny little tunnel that the water has carved out. So you basically swim through, and it's covered in barnacles, so don't reach up and try to slap the ceiling or anything. But I thought it was just really cool. And then we're pretty sure that the second one was freshwater, or at least they told us it was spring fed. And as you're swimming into the second lagoon, which is just surrounded by these towering cliffs, you definitely feel a temperature change as well. So that's pretty cool. It's one of the more popular places. It's probably gonna be on your itinerary, but just give it double check because it's pretty neat. Doesn't really matter if you book the regular Coron Island tour or the super duper ultimate magnificent amazing fantastic tour like we did, you're gonna more than likely end up at Kayangan Lake because it's one of the most scenic spots on Coron Island. There's a very famous outlook that you'll hike up to. There's actually quite a few stairs when you get up there, but you'll hike up, you'll take an amazing picture, and then you'll go hang out in the lake. It has this really beautiful outlook. When you first hike up to the top of the mountains, you're like, oh, is this the lake? No, you're just turning around and looking at the lagoon that you just came from. The lake is actually over the hill and back down. When you get down here, there's a lot of platforms and benches and a huge swimming area. Really pretty blue water and really nice rocks and really nice jungle foliage.
And it's freshwater. And
it's freshwater, but you have to wear a life jacket. Those are the rules. We're gonna get back on the boat. We're going to one more place. How do I feel? I feel a little congested. I have a head cold. That's unfortunate because there's really cool snorkeling and like free diving on this entire tour. And Maggie's had all the fun diving down, and I've done none of it. I'm just her safety surface spotter person.
Yeah, that's the most important job.
And she's much prettier when she free dives than I am, so it's fine. It's good for the channel. Little huts with snacks. There's a 7-Eleven, so the sign says. We're hoping they have a drink for Maggie and I. Uh-oh, all I have is thousands. I don't know, Red Horse is their strong beer. The last stop of the day on our super ultimate island tour was Siete Pecados, not to be confused with Siete Apecados, which is a small chain of islands that I just made up that don't exist. But Siete Pecados is, well, they're very small, tiny, tiny islands, and it's a marine sanctuary. It's very protected, so the coral is untouched. Beautiful coral, beautiful sea life, and on the way, the sunset was just amazing. Thanks for watching our video on island hopping in and around Coron Island. We've got lots of more videos of the Philippines coming up, and if you can tell, if you're well-traveled, you'll see behind me, this is El Nido. This is not Coron Island, but that's the island that they filmed The Survivor on, and we're gonna go there tomorrow and survive. That's the plan, at least. I don't think we'll die. Just lots of more tropical videos coming up. Keep watching, and then after this, we're going into season 4. Was it 4 or 5? I was getting confused. Season 4, Australia and New Zealand. Okay, bye.